tremendous reception for the two teams, for a contest of pride and not a little prejudice. A private argument of North London with overtones of doubles and finance to be played out before a world audience. The match is being watched on television in over 30 countries. Positive selections by the two managers. David Howells was out for 10 games before he came back against Norwich in midweek. Paul Gascoigne, with the stomach operation, missed only 5. The unlucky man, I suppose, is the Moroccan Naeem. Vinny Samways getting the midfield place. Naeem joining Paul Walsh on the substitutes bench. If George Graham thought about a third central defender, David O'Leary, in the end, he decided not to include him. David is on the substitutes bench with Perry Groves. Instead, Graham sticks to his wide men, Merson and Limpar, in Arsenal's attacking formation. Well, for just a brief time, this gentleman, Terry Venables, can put money and takeover bids out of his mind and concentrate on football. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. This man has been concentrating on football all season, and his side battling on 2 major fronts. The referee, it's his 4th semi-final, Ray Lewis, from slightly unfortunately named place for a referee, Great Bookham. He's in fact from the Surrey FA. Roy Pardo and Rob Harris are his 2 linesmen, and the reserve referee is Gerald Ashby from Worcestershire. Big day for this young man, Tanaya Norman, 9 years old, just being ushered away after being presented to the 2 captains, and his opposite number is an 11-year-old Barry Ayres. I mean, neither knew until today that they would have a part in the proceedings. Tony Adams looking very relaxed as the teams came out before the start. Capacity crowd, of course, of 80,000, and worth noting, I think, that the Football Association issued 2,000 complimentary tickets to the armed forces. A gesture of thanks from football for their combined efforts in the Gulf. It's not a good place from which to watch the match, believe me. It amazes me how managers can see anything from down there. The England manager usually goes up top, but Terry Venables is one of those who likes to be close to his players, although even that is slightly denied these 2 great friends. It's quite a long way back. Bits of confetti, it would seem, all over the pitch. There's bits of paper. It's a pretty raw day. Not exactly a day of browning Otoby in England now that April's there. It's a touch of winter about it. First feel of the ball, and then a second feel of the ball for the Norwegian, Erik Torstvedt. And the wind was against the kick. The header was by Limpar. Vanden Hauwe, and the free kick is in his favour. Vanden Hauwe, who wears number 3, playing at right back, with Justin Edinburgh wearing 2 on the left side. A position that he's really made his own, Edinburgh, in this cup run. First touch for that fellow whose name I can't remember for a moment. Wasn't the friendliest of balls from a colleague that Winterburn was given. Stewart, whose brother was hoping to have ensured a place here at Wembley for Witten Albion, but he's got to wait for the replay. Challenged by Samways. Swede who's down. Steve Bold joining Smith and Campbell forward. Tony Adams arriving a little later, out by Mabbott, a little bit short. And Lineker with two defenders around him. And the ball had gone out before it hit Lineker, apparently. Howes had made a forward run, number 5, nobody seemed to notice him. Chase over for Paul Allen. Gascoigne is in the area. So now is the ball. Howes coming in. And Gascoigne complaining. Looked to see whether the linesman's flag was up, but in fact I think that was a verdict of the referee. So, first thoughts from Trevor Brooking.
Well, tactically, I think perhaps George Graham's selection was based on the belief that Gary Lineker would play up by himself, and that is the case, so that's the reason I think he's gone for the flat-back 4. And from Spurs' selection point of view, filling up a 5-man midfield, Paul Stewart more the anchor man, Paul Gascoigne given quite a free role. The one slight tactical switch Terry Venables has made is in fact David Howe playing on the left side of midfield, almost pushing up on Lee Dixon, who likes to get forward, and that be, I think, something he's going to keep an eye on, Dixon's forward runs.
Howes is now forward of Edinburgh. It's nicely done. Allen challenged just in time. Gascoigne is offside. Flag is up. Gascoigne was offside. But I think the referee is, in fact, just going to give the goal kick. Gascoigne wanted a corner. But there was just a moment then when Allen thought he might be at the races. It was Adams who got the challenge in. It was a very important one.
You can see the problems caused if Spurs players run deep from midfield. It will combat the idea that Arsenal like to play a flat-back 4 and push up for offside. But if you get people running from deep situations like that, there are going to be occasions where they will break that offside tactic down.
Stewart. Adams flying through the air. Won by Lee Dixon. Second time. Allen. The early attacking ideas coming from Tottenham. First time Gascoigne's been able to dwell on the ball, faced then by Paul Davis. Tottenham seem to be finding quite a lot of space. But that wasn't the best of passes. But the challenge was a little late on Stewart, which may have been the reason. And the free kick is just left of centre. Gascoigne, whose free kick Stewart met against Blackpool, started the Tottenham scoring, and he scored in every round after that. Made the first and involved in everything since. Mabbott has gone forward with Stewart to the right, Lineker and Howes to the left. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? He is, you know. Oh, I say! Brilliant! That is schoolboy's own stuff. Oh, I bet even he can't believe it. Is there anything left from this man to surprise us? That was one of the finest free kicks that this stadium has ever seen. Seaman got his hands, couldn't hold. Spurs have the lead. Paul Gascoigne, the scorer.
Well, what an opening to the semi-final. I mean, it was 30-35 yards out, and I thought when he ran up and he appeared to be shooting, I thought that's a bit optimistic from that range, but he hit it superbly. I still think David Seaman will be a bit disappointed because he got a hand to it, and you feel a goalkeeper of his class having from that distance and getting the hand to it, should have pushed it out. But all credit to that man, Paul Gascoigne, he's done it again.
The goal in the 5th minute. And David Seaman, what Lineker's trying to point to. I think he wants it to go the other way to Howes. He does for the flick on. Lineker. Well, it was certainly hit. I wonder if it surprised him as much as it surprised us from that distance. But you're quite right, Trevor, he did get his hand to it, he did get across to it, but it was so well struck. David Seaman in the same end, where he didn't have the best of moments playing against the Republic of Ireland. But he's got to put that out of his mind. And at the risk of upsetting all the Arsenal fans, for the neutral, it's probably what the game needed, an early goal by Tottenham.
That's right, that man Gascoigne again. But the goal, it's interesting if you see the replay there. David Seaman goes for it with his right arm, which is the one furthest away. Most goalkeeping coaches would tell you should go with the near arm, which should have been his left. But not that I used to be a goalkeeper.
And he's not alone in that. I've seen Neville Southall and company do it. Torsvet changes his mind. And he's nicely placed in the end. And just a little bit of push and shove between Stewart and Adams, which is all rather silly. Referee wants to talk to both, and he's right. Stewart immediately offers his handshake, which seemed to be declined. One man in charge, although Adams seems to want to make the point and is rather more upset about it, it would appear, than Stewart, who was the first one to open his mouth. Bold. Yes, quite right. Edinburgh, the challenge from behind, and he arrived into the pack. Justin Edinburgh came from Southend United in the summer after a loan spell. Moment to concentrate even more, and your side is in front. Doesn't want to do too much of that to the teeth, it doesn't help the enamel. Paul Allen, and the challenge there was a little bit late. Limpar and Vanden Hauwe, and suddenly the referee is needing eyes in more than the usual place in his anatomy. Supporters just pointing out to the Arsenal supporters that they've gone a little quiet, but one can understand why they have. Howells certainly pushing well up on Lee Dixon, which will limit his attacking abilities. And again the challenge was a little bit venomous and a little bit poorly timed. Stewart enjoyed playing in midfield. Stewart, nice little touch from Gascoigne. Allen was onside, plenty forward. Mabbott trying to get there. Smith, it's gone in. Lineker got the final touch. Alan Smith was back in his own 6-yard area, but that was the flick that did it. There, put Allen away. Howells was forward, Mabbott was forward, Smith was back, Lineker with a little stub toe. Tottenham are 2 up.
A magnificent move between Paul Gascoigne and Paul Allen out on the right, completely opened up the Arsenal flank. Good cross from Allen, just bounced off Alan Smith, and there was Gary Lineker to poach it in. And at the moment, Arsenal's defence are getting stretched and pulled all apart, and that man Paul Gascoigne has had a devastating opening 10 minutes, and Arsenal have just somehow got to compose themselves.
There's the Swede, Limpar. Gary Lineker goal number 18, but it was that pass that made it. Looking down from behind David Seaman's goal, Smith, it came off his chest, he was trying to get there, and you don't need to give Lineker even half an opportunity, but this man scored one, made one. It's not a bad contribution in the first 10 minutes, really back, because he was warming his way into it at Norwich.
You can see him there, he's ran right over to the left wing and he's pulling his marker, Michael Thomas, all over the place, which is leaving Arsenal completely unbalanced, and they've got a back four just marking Gary Lineker, and because Thomas is being pulled to mark Gascoigne, they're short in the midfield, and at the moment, that's tactically where Spurs are winning it.
A little indicative, Trevor, that Alan Smith felt the need to be back there because he could see they were going to get outnumbered.
I think somehow, when usually they're most effective, this man, Lee Dixon, and also Nigel Winterburn, the left-back, they do push forward and like to make forward runs, whereas at the moment, there he is giving that ball away, Lee Dixon. They're all at sea with their distribution.
Well, in the marvellous season they've had to date, Arsenal, their fans must be remembering one of their only two previous defeats, the one in the League Cup competition, when Manchester United scored 6. We're certainly going to find out a great deal about Arsenal now. Paul Merson hasn't been in the game yet, but he's not alone in that. We haven't seen Campbell. The only time we've seen Smith was in defence a few minutes ago, and we probably would wish we hadn't seen him. And the midfield has been non-existent in terms of producing anything. On by Bowles. A free kick. Backing in by Smith. He's involved in everything, is Gascoigne, much to the chagrin of George Graham. It's not the sort of thing you expect to happen to you before lunchtime on a Sunday.
Well, they've had such an excellent run in recent weeks when they surged to the top of the table, Arsenal. If anyone can come back from conceding 2 goals in the opening quarter of an hour, it is this Arsenal team, because they are very resilient, got a lot of character, but it is going to stretch them, giving away 2 such excellent goals from the Spurs side.
Lineker. It's a bit too long, the cross, but he got away from Winterburn. And Dixon sorting out the bounce. Merson. Paul Davis. Strong challenge by Sedgley. Adams. Sedgley slipped a bit. Gascoigne peels for the throw. How times would you feel he wastes some of his energy, but how can you change him when he scores goals and makes goals like he has here? The answer is you shouldn't try. Free kick against Samways. Merson on the right. He's never going to get past Howes like that. Edinburgh. Samways. Edinburgh. Oh! Dear. Dear. Well, if Dixon has had a worse time tackled this season, I'm glad I didn't see it.
Well, it was a very awkward tackle, wasn't it? There was no way he was going to get the ball. Just at the moment, just shows the frustration the Arsenal team is showing, and as I said, they've got to regain their composure and get back to playing the sort of possession football and the patient game that has got them to the top of the table in the semi-final here today.
Mr. Lewis wants it nearer the corner. Settle for that. is shown to Lee Dixon. And Mr. Lewis quite right. Dear, dear. That really was an awful tackle for an international fullback. And I can only say that he's lost his composure.
I mean, he wasn't even in a dangerous situation out wide. A minute ago, his very bad tackle got warned, and he must have known a similar tackle like that, and he's ended up quite rightly in the book.
And I think there was a second booking while we were looking at that to Campbell for a few words said. Kevin Campbell. Two goals down, two bookings down. It is not going right at all for Arsenal at the moment. That's a free kick by Howes. And then Stewart came in. I don't know whether the whistle had gone, I think it had. Well, Stewart's got his feathers ruffled early. This is a foul here, quite clearly by David Howes. The referee, I think, had blown the whistle. And in the follow-up, then comes Stewart and tries to play straight through Davis. We've had just over 18 minutes of this contest. 3 bookings, but on the positive side, 2 fine goals, both for Spurs. Gascoigne after 5 minutes, Lineker after 10. Tottenham's England connection, giving them a fine start. Davis, Winterburn, Limpar, immediately Van den Houw to him. Gascoigne is the extra man. Didn't exactly play that by the book, Tottenham, but they won the ball. Many people might have felt that Gascoigne was too close and not covering his fullback, but he got the ball. With a lot to say there. Howes had an interesting start to the game. Howes. Stewart full of confidence. Same ways. And the flag is up. David Howes, who was out with first a broken jaw, and then he had a knee problem. Seaman is going to take the kick. Smith wins in the air. Campbell, it's the first time that combination has worked. Limpar, and he got in a clean shot. Very easy to say from up here, but how close was he to hitting it first time? It would have worried the Norwegian goalkeeper rather more, I suspect, if he had. Dixon. Smith. 2 wins in the air. Free kick. Just a lean in that caused the slip. And the day that needs a bit of warmth is now finding the sun has arrived. The Arsenal fans reacting. Lineker. And again. Allen. Offside. Paul Allen hardly seems 11 years ago since he became the youngest player to play in a Wembley Cup final at 17 years and 256 days. The man alongside me was playing that day too.
Yes, Paul Allen always remembered for that late on in the match when he was clean through and Willie Young just brought him down. It was the first time I can remember the old professional foul getting its first mention.
No doubt that in the modern climate, Mr. Young would have departed. Many people think that he should have then. Gascoigne, foul by Thomas. I don't think the hair has grown too much while he's been out of the game. And little attention needed by Allen. Well, there was a lovely line in the Independent newspaper from their correspondent. Because of his injury, it described him as the abdominal showman. Gascoigne takes, away by Bold. Stewart. And use of the hand and a push and shove. Gascoigne being pulled away, getting involved when he wanted to get on with the game, and the referee will now talk to Gascoigne. Well, it's a pity, or will be a pity, if these two North London rivals spoil the setting here.
Well, that one came about because Paul Gascoigne picked the ball up to take the free kick, and Michael Thomas coming across tried to wrestle it away from Gascoigne, thinking that the free kick was for Arsenal, and that caused a fracas. There it was, the free kick is being given. Paul Gascoigne gets to take it, and now Michael Thomas trying to wrestle it, and then is my ball, no, it's yours, is mine, and Paul Stewart tugging him away then.
And from the resulting free kick, Lineker just couldn't quite get on the end. Well, he got a bit on the end, but not to bother David Seaman. Winterburn. That's good stuff from the Arsenal supporters. Getting a response at the other end, but the champions-elect, if that's what they are, in need of a lift. Uh, 20 minutes of the first half remaining. 2-0 to Spurs. Third meeting between these two sides in the FA Cup. The previous two were in the third round. One victory apiece. Merson. First time he's had a run. Smith. He tried the dummy, but there wasn't enough pace on the ball for it to reach Campbell. Samways, Lineker out to the left. Storming run being made down the middle, which helped by Edinburgh. Samways involved for the second time. Edinburgh still forward. Samways. Well struck, body all behind it by Seaman.
Spurs breaking in units much better than Arsenal. As soon as that attack broke down, three of them broke in a triangle, and it was Vinnie Samways who went past Tony Adams easily there and got in a shot with his right foot.
Vanden Hauwe. One of the best passes he's made. He's been to Wembley 3 times in the final and not been successful. Merson, free kick against Samways. Again, the challenge was a bit late and a bit harsh. And the referee's having to write a book here.
That's the only one I would disagree with a bit. Vinny Semway is not renowned for his tackling, and it was a little bit late, but he didn't follow through on it, unlike the other ones, which I totally agreed with.
Davis. Bold is forward. That it was by Sedgley. Dixon presumably for a long one. 4 Arsenal players in the 18-yard area. Merson just outside, as is Davis, as is Thomas. Looking for Bold. One by Stewart. Dixon. Smith underneath it. And an infringement in front involving Mabbott and Campbell.
Arsenal usually so dangerous on crosses, and apart from Smith and Campbell at set pieces, Bold comes up and Adams, but at the moment they've never been in a situation where they've been able to get the quality crosses in to cause the Spurs defence a problem. And at the moment Eric Torsford, just about to take this kick, has had a very comfortable first half.
Adams, the challenge from Howes, just put him off. And Seaman bringing it out, getting the extra distance. It's become all the rage. Smith. Quickly there was Allen. It has to be said that Tottenham are on top in every area of the field at the moment. It's all to do with confidence, of course, but they're quicker to the ball, their defence hasn't been troubled, their ideas are far more inventive. Arsenal, not to put too fine a point on it, are not really in this semi-final yet. Might be now. This is Limpar. Gary Mabbott, Tottenham captain, winning out. It's a good challenge, nothing matter with that at all. By Bold, but the follow-up will produce the free kick. Or maybe a drop ball. It's the latter. Even that came out Tottenham's way. Stewart. Allen, Stewart. Samways, 2 against 2 in the middle. Howes, if he pulls it to the far side, he's unmarked. Up comes Gascoigne. Arsenal moving out, so Gascoigne tries to take them on. Good challenge by Tony Adams. On by Merson. And all things are relative, but you might argue that's the best Arsenal move of the match. Controlled by Adams as the defence pushed out. We've had half an hour. And Tottenham's goals both came in the first 10 minutes. Edinburgh. Samways having a good match. And what Tottenham player at this juncture is not. Good recovery by Adams, but only to Gascoigne. Allen, Brandon Howe on the overlap. Beat both Lineker and Gascoigne.
Good overlap there by Edinburgh, but it's in that midfield department, Paul Gascoigne, Paul Stewart, Vinny Samways and Paul Allen, where they just have that extra yard each occasion and the extra man, and there's always somebody on to play their way out of trouble, and their interchange and movement has been outstanding.
Limpar, blocked by Mabbott. Campbell. Found by Davis. This is Winterburn. Stewart. Offside against Lineker. Won by Edinburgh. Samways, Lineker, it's a bit short. Well won by Gascoigne. Back again to Lineker. Allen to the right, Samways the other way. Good challenge again by Adams. Determination from Paul Allen. Tottenham might be a bit disappointed they didn't make rather more of that, as there were options either way. Gascoigne winning the ball. Samways. More freedom than anybody, Samways. He's gone on a run. Lineker back to Edinburgh, nobody tracked him. Paul Davis. Bowles. Limpar. Winterburn on the overlap, more promising. Campbell, Smith!
I think the picture says it all, doesn't it? Best move, unquestionably, for Arsenal. Winterburn, the first occasion he's managed to get clear down that left. Good cross, a pull back, and Alan Smith having to turn to hit it. Just popped up a little bit, but there was no conviction on the shot, and got underneath it, and it clipped over the crossbar. And I think Arsenal supporters will be very disappointed, because you do feel perhaps they do need a goal before half-time.
Free kick, Arsenal's way, quickly taken. Dixon wasn't really ready for that. Did him no favours. Gascoigne after just a little flick by Dixon. It was almost as though, well, I wouldn't put it past him. It was almost as though Gascoigne was aware of the flick, came back and said, I'm going to take it away from you again. Well, that looked like a handoff by Merson. It's just a Tottenham throw. Lineker. Wild by Adams.
Spurs have a few flair players that when they're 1 or 2 up do like to do a little bit on the ball, and it sometimes can frustrate you if you're in the opposition, and that's why I think 1 or 2 Arsenal players are just diving in a bit recklessly and conceding free kicks.
Gascoigne and Samways. He always knew he was going to take it. Mabbutt, Lineker, a couple of times, Mabbutt. A man who scored for both sides. Last time Tottenham were in the final in '87, but the second one proved to be the winning goal for Coventry. Spurs skipper very keen to get back to put that right. Young Campbell, first time we've seen him really. Combination between Smith and Campbell, which has served Arsenal so well in recent weeks. Just hasn't got going at all. Hasn't had much service, to be fair. Highbury's North Bank doing its best to lift the side. Campbell, Merson, ambitious. Well played by Lineker. He's got 2 moving to his right. And Bold to the rescue of Arsenal. Howells offside against Allen.
That was a good opportunity for Spurs. Gary Lineker broke clear, and Paul Stewart in particular outside him on the right seemed to be the better passer. Just delayed it enough to then get it cut out, but you could see how the Spurs midfield, 2 or 3 of them all break to support him, and Arsenal finding it so difficult to pick up those deep players.
And in the light of the last match that we saw at this stadium, Trevor, it's interesting to see a side proving that you can get players forward from midfield. It doesn't always have to be knocked on.
Well, Spurs have been a delight these opening, 35-40 minutes. Knocking it through the midfield, it just shows that we do have players capable of playing that manner.
Bowl has joined Smith forward. Adams staying back on this one. Bowl goes to the back of the queue. Does so again. And Torsved has come and claimed very well indeed. Watch the fight of that beautifully, the Norwegian. Among the commentators in the stadium is the leading Norwegian commentator, so he'd be pleased to have reported that to his countrymen. Dixon. Smith waiting to go, Mabbott with him, and Mabbott will win comfortably. That wasn't the best of clearances, so it fell back a little bit. That's a good ball by Thomas. Well, it looked it for a moment, but Mabbott was quick to see the danger. Winterburn again. Limpar. Winterburn. And Gascoigne has stumbled. Paul Gascoigne at the moment paying great tribute to the medical profession.
One thing Spurs will have to be a little bit aware of is Paul Gascoigne and David Howe being out several weeks, and you just wonder in the last half an hour of a game like this whether they'll begin to feel the pace, but at present, of course, they've got a nice 2-goal cushion.
Dixon away from Howes for the first time, and Howes not managing to get back. That's a goal kick. There might just be the nagging thought in Terry Venables' mind that really his team have had the opportunities to put this match beyond reach.
But then, having taken the gamble of playing Howes and Gascoigne, even he would have been delighted, I'm sure, Terry Venables, that they're 2 goals up. As you say, it could have been more, but at present, I'm sure he'll settle for that scoreline.
Offside. Adams. Smith. Sedgley started to go with him and then goes back. Mabbott. Saves the corner, but gives the ball to Campbell. Might have been better to settle for the corner. Very confident, Mr. Torsved.
Mind you, that sort of hanging cross is ideal for a goalkeeper to be able to make ground and take the cross. When you get out wide, I always feel the ball whipped in at pace is the one that causes the goalkeeper far more problem.
Mistake by Adams. This is Howes. Had a very in-and-out first half, the Arsenal captain. Smith and Mabbott. Merson. Limpar, Campbell. Blocked on the edge. Referee shakes his head. Davis. Dixon. Smith didn't know where it was. Wouldn't have got it anyway. 3 minutes away from half-time. Seven goals in the last 8 games for Campbell. Arsenal wouldn't mind where the goal comes from, in some need. Here's Campbell again, challenged by Mabbutt. Gascoigne. And he's composing thoughts for half-time. Good stuff again from Tottenham. Almost an embarrassment of options.
Another great movement that was. Lineker back to Gascoigne, Vinny Samways, who's done a lot of good work in this first half, making the run, and again it opened up the Arsenal defence. The final ball just letting them down.
The fourth semi-final of an all-London variety. Arsenal have been involved in all of them, and they won the previous 3, twice against Chelsea, and the most recent in '78 against Leyton Orient. But they found Tottenham a real handful in this first half. And there's Limpar. It's been said that his form hasn't been quite what it was earlier in the season. They need him to find it. A long spell without scoring, Limpar, which has an effect. Gascoigne hasn't shirked anything. In fact, he's invited people to give him the ball. Back a few moments ago when he gave the ball back to Torsved, he then ran 20 yards to collect it again. Smith. Deal for offside, it's not. It's curled. Smith! He scored! Dixon's cross. Smith's head. And Arsenal have got what they desperately needed. The goal before half-time. It was a good cross. Wind, I suspect, held it up a little bit. Smith rose the highest, and Torsved, who was quite close to his line, found it beating him on his left side.
See what a difference a cross at speed makes. The goalkeeper just came a couple of yards, knew he couldn't get near, and Alan Smith soared superbly. Did well to get the power to beat Torsved from there, because he was still quite a distance out. And that is a crucial goal before half-time. What looked seconds ticking away, and suddenly there's a glimmer of hope for the Arsenal side.
Well, you would never have judged that from the expression on George Graham's face. Changed the conversations a bit in the dressing room. For no good, Tottenham looking back on opportunities, as I suggested earlier, that they had that could have put the match beyond Arsenal's reach. Suddenly they've got a real fight on their hands, but then that's what they expected. A few more words from Ray Lewis. He's allowed a minute in the main for the lectures and bookings. And he will allow no more. An entertaining first half. Some wonderful football from Spurs, with Gascoigne at the heart of it.